Hello everybody, this is Parveen and I welcome you to the App DNA channel where we talk about all things app. Today I'll be talking to you about an employee management app where you can keep track of the leaves of your employees and also have announcements on a dashboard. We'll be building it on our low-code platform Zoho Creator. What is Zoho Creator? Zoho Creator is the low-code platform where we have a drag and drop interface where we drag elements, drop them, build workflows and deploy the apps as quick as possible. It is meant for developers and non-developers alike. Today we'll be looking at the basic essential features that our employee management app will have and how to build it on Zoho Creator. Our employee management app today will have 5 essential features. Now it is not a comprehensive app, but I would like to take care of these 5 features so that we have an idea about our low-code platform. The first feature is that we will have an employee database where you can keep track of the employees and their managers. The second is that we will have an announcement dashboard where you can announce the important stuff to your employees. The third is that the employees can apply for leaves. The fourth is that the managers can approve or reject these leaves. And the fifth is that we are going to share this app with our employees with the required views. We will now go to creator.zoho.com where we will be building our first form for our employees. Let's check how to build forms in Creator. Welcome to creator.zoho.com where we'll be building our employee management app. On the right hand side, you see that we have an option to create a new application. Or if you were already using spreadsheets to manage your employee details, then you can simply import those files and an app will be created for you. I'll click on New Application and this will take me to the app gallery where we have 50 pre-made applications ready to be installed. I'll be creating one from scratch, after which I will be showing you the app that was pre-built for us. Let me name my application as Employee Management 2018. I'll start by creating a new form for my employee details. I want to create it from blank and I'll name my app form as Add Employee. This is our drag and drop builder where we'll be dragging these data fields to create our form. I want to use the section field so that we have different sections for our employee details. I'll name this section as Personal Information. So inside Personal Information, I would want to know the name of the employee, their gender, so I'll use the radio button, their contact number, their photo. Next, I will want to have the work information section, so we'll use the section again. In work information, the most important thing would be the employee ID and the email, so I'll use the single line field for the employee ID. Next, the official email. Next, the seat location. Next, I want to know the department. For department, I'll be using the drop-down field. In department, I'd like to the choices as, let's say, marketing, HR, and admin. Next, I'll use the drop-down field for reporting to. This is for which manager the person is reporting to. Next, I'll use the drop-down for employee status once again. And in the options, I will have active, resigned, terminate. Let's say I want to have another choice, then I can simply use the plus button here, and this one would be leave of absence. Next, I'll use a decision box. So a decision box can have only 2 values, either true or false, and the values are given with a tick symbol. So this one is if this employee is also a reporting manager. So if this is true, then this employee will also be recorded as a manager instead of an employee in our database. We'll do the workflow later, but for now, our form is done. Now I hit done and I'll use the access this application button here, which will take me to the live mode of the app. So this is the edit mode where we are creating our app, and in the live mode, we can see our forms. So this is my add employee form. I'll fill it up. So you can see that this decision box can be used for reporting manager, my employee status, my reporting to. Now reporting to will have a workflow. So let's get down to our workflows. So for our workflows, we'll go back to our edit mode. We'll click on the add workflow. I want to use it while using my form add employee, and I'll name my workflow as verify whether employee or manager. Add a new action, and I want it to be a custom action that happens when the form is loading. So here, this is our deluge builder where we will be coding using these deluge tasks, which are also drag and drop features. So these are blocks of code which can be used just like we built our form. So I'm going to dynamically add the managers to my reporting to field. So let's get started. First, I will use the create list function from here. So let's go to my list. Yeah, create list. It asks me for a variable. Let me say that the variable is manager list. Next, once this list has been created, I'm going to use the fetch record field here, which will go to another form and fetch the records that I want so that I can manipulate them. So fetch records, this also asks for the variable. So the variable is manager list. It will go to my add employee form, the field. If the field is reporting manager equals true, then what happens is I want the official email to be fetched, and for that I will have get all. So get all function gets all the emails. This line will add all the emails belonging to the managers. So if the decision box is manager true, is reporting manager is true, then those mails will be fetched and they have to be dynamically added to my manager list. So for that I will use the UI.add code, which will be here somewhere. So use the add function. So this one is input dot reporting to. Here I'm going to use UI.add so that it appears only in the UI, and the expression is manager list. And I hit save. So I hope you got the code. First we are creating a list and then we are fetching the records from the list and we are adding it to our UI. I hit done and then let's go back to my app to see what has happened there. So let's add my first employee and see what happened. Let's say my employee is 1, department is marketing. I don't report to anyone. My employee status is active and I'm a reporting manager. So I hit add and in my all employees report, I see that I've been added as an employee. Now let's go back to my employee form. Let us add another person, let's say some C. And then when I click on the reporting to, you see that my email ID is populated here because in the previous form while submitting I had mentioned that I'm the reporting manager. So my workflow to add the reporting managers in the UI is working. So we're done with the first feature and that was to create our employee database and keep a track of who are the managers. But in my all employees report, even if I'm the manager, it's not reflecting here because I don't have that field. So for that, we have a workaround that we can go to our design here and in my report of all employees, I click on the layout. So this opens the layout of how I want the report to look like. And my display option, I want to add a field is reporting manager. And then I want to have a display value. So if it is true, if the reporting manager is true, then I want to display the value as manager. And if it is false, I just want to show it as employee. It's saved. And now I want to reload my app and see if the changes have been reflected. So now when you check, is reporting manager me? I can see that I am the manager. If I would not have clicked on that, I would have been the employee. So in my first feature, I have tracked the employees and the managers. Now that you learned how to build forms, we will have an announcement form and we'll be creating an announcement dashboard for our employees. For our announcements, I will create a second form and this one will be a pretty small one, just like we created the employee form. I will name it as make announcements. And this form would be exclusively available only for the admin because the employees need not announce. So I'll be using the single line field for my announcement title. Next, I'll use the multi-line for my description. Then I can have the drop down for my status. So either the announcement can be active or inactive. And hit done. So my announcement form is ready. And now I have to create a dashboard where all the employees can check out the announcements. For that, I'll be creating. So pages are a special feature of Creator where you can have dashboards, charts, and HTML. So let's get down to creating our first page. I'll name my page as View Announcements. And this page would be exclusively available to the employees where they can check out all the announcements. It won't be restricted to just the admins. And here I want to add a deluge server page HTML, so I have to find it out. This is the deluge server page HTML. I click it, drag it, and now I will be doing a little bit of HTML. But before that, I will be using the fetch record because I want to fetch the records of the view announcement from my announcement form. And before that, I want to make sure that the employees check only the announcements which are needed for them. So I want a welcome and the employee name. So for that, I'm going to use the employee record. The form is add employee. The field is male. So the variable employee record goes to my employee form, and if the email matches the login user ID, so it will show an HTML field. So I will just type the HTML code div style. So this one manages the width and height of our HTML. So it's basic coding, but not too difficult. So width would be 90%. This is our basic HTML coding. So I have given the width, the font size, and then the welcome employee record.name. So I'll hit save. Now our HTML coding for our welcome board is done. So I will create a new report as well to go with it so that the announcements appear. So applications employee management, the report I would want to be based on all announcements, and I'll create a new report and hit done. Also in my all announcements, I will change the layout to single line and multi-line. So it appears in the form of cards rather than the regular layout. Now that we are done with our announcements, I will reload and let's make our first announcement. So let's say we are celebrating Women's Day. And when we go to our view announcements, you see how beautiful it appears. Welcome Parveen C. Now I need to have a gap in my HTML and all announcements. So Women's Day celebration is happening on March 8th. So you can have all sorts of announcements in this announcement dashboard. So our second feature of creating new announcements is done. Now we will allow our employees to apply leave. Let's check how to do that. Now we will create the leave form the same way we made the employee form. I will name the form as apply leave. Here I will use a special field called the lookup, which is used to relate to forms so that we can use the data residing in another form. In this form, I will want it to be fetched from add employee. I want to know the employee ID so that I can relate the employee to this leave form. I want to know the employee ID plus their name. Next, I want to know the leave type. So I will use the drop down. So I have my leave types. Next, I want to know the from date and the to date. The from date to date is there, then the status. Status can be either requested, approved, and rejected. I'd want the default choice to be requested so that the manager can later change it to approved or rejected. And then I would want the reason for leave. So I'll use the multi-line field here. So our apply leave form is done here. And next I would want to have separate reports for the leaves. So in all leaves, I would want a form just my leaves so that where the employee can check only his leaves. So for that, I will create a new report list based on the form apply leave. Name my report will be exclusively for the employees. Here I will add a filter in my report. So the selected field email equals Zoho.login user ID. I hit save. Now I'll want another form to track the employee leaves, and this one will be for the manager, where the manager can either approve or reject the leaves. So for that, I'll create another report and I'll name that as leave requests. And this one is exclusively for the managers. And here I will create two custom action buttons. But before that, I will go back to my app and check whether the leave form is reflecting properly. So my apply leave is right here. Let's say I am the employee, my leave type is sick. From, now the from is not reflecting properly, I have to go and change it. From 15 to 16 status is request, and reason for leave is sick. Now when I go to all leaves, the admin can see this. When I go to my leaves, I can see only my leave. So there's a difference, and that would be reflected in the last step when we will be sharing the app. So I'll be sharing only my leaves with the employees. And then in the fourth feature, we'll be creating our leave requests and our custom action buttons. And to go back to our apply leave, I will like to change the date field, which is reflecting wrongly. And I'm done. So we are done with the third feature. Once the employee has asked for the leave, now the manager can either accept it or reject it. We will do it by custom actions in Creator. We are going to create two custom action buttons for accepting or rejecting a leave request. So I will go to leave requests, and this report will be exclusively for the manager, the admin, to approve or reject the leave. And here I'll be going to actions. Here I'm going to create a new button and I'll name it as run the below workflow on the condition that the status equals requested. And I'll name my workflow approve and create workflow. So what happens is that I just want the status to be changed to accepted. Hit save. Create the item. Similarly, I'm going to make the reject button also. Input.status. Rejected. Hit done. Create the item. And I'm going to add it to the layout. So to add to the layout, I have to add the approve button and the newly created reject button. Now I'm going to access my application and see how my approvals look like. So in the leave requests, the admin can see that there is the approve button and the reject button. So Parveen has applied for leave. She has requested that she was sick. Now our app is completed. Let's check how to share the app with the required permissions to our employees. Now that we are done with building our app, the leaves and the announcements and stuff, I'm going to share the app with the employees. For that, we will have to create two sharing profiles. Share application user, a custom profile, and first one I'll name as manager. Now, what are the permissions that a manager needs? So a manager should be able to access the add employee form, should be also able to view the add employee form, all employees. Then he can also access the apply leave. And in the view of leaves, he should be able to see leave requests and his own leaves. Now in make announcements, he can make announcements and he can also view announcements. I click next and I'll add a random user. I hit share. Similarly, I create another profile for my employee. Now the employee should be able to only view the apply leave form. He need not view the employee's form. And in the leave, he should be able to check only his leave. In announcements, he should be able to check only view announcements, the dashboard. Then I click next and I'll add the user again. So this will create my sharing profiles, and now I will have to create a workflow to share this app explicitly with my users. So I'll go to workflow while using the form add employee. So every time an employee is created, these two profiles will be shared with the employee depending on whether he's the manager or the employee. I'll name my workflow as employee sharing permissions. Hit create. Add new action on successful form submit. So now I'm going to use the if condition. So if is reporting to is true. So if my employee is also a manager, then I want to share the manager view. So for this, the code is this app.permissions. This app.permissions assign user in profile input.email. So this profile would be shared to the email of my manager, comma, the profile name is manager. Else, if he's only an employee, then I will share the same thing, except the profile would be employee. Now with this code, the profile should be shared, and then I will also add a send mail task from zoho.admin user ID to input.email. The subject is view your leaves and upcoming announcements, let's say. And in the message, I can simply share the form link. So I have to go to my app. Let's say I will just use this particular link. I'll copy paste it. The message would be click. I don't want to know the form. I just want the link of my app. Target is blank so that it opens up in another tab. So this would do my send mail and sharing together. I hit done, and now I go to my app, and to check whether the sharing is working properly, I'm going to add a new user, my friend Akshay. I put his email and I add it. So let's go to Akshay's mail to check if he just got the mail. View your leaves and upcoming announcements. He clicks here, he goes to the app in another tab, and as you can see, he can check all the announcements. So in view announcements, welcome Akshay, he can check the Women's Day celebration. He can apply for leave. So let's say Akshay, leave type casual, and he applies for the leave. Now in my leaves, Akshay can check only his leaves because the workflow where we have been checking the login user ID is working. He cannot check my leaves, whereas in my where I am the admin, I can check my leaves as well. I have the access to all leaves where I can see all the leaves, and in my leaves I cannot see any leaves because I have not applied any, and I am not entitled to see Akshay's leaves. So our sharing app with employees is also done, where we have shared the app with two different profiles and sent mail to them. Let's have a quick recap of the app that we have built today to encapsulate all that we have learned. Let's have a quick recap of the employee management app we built today. So first we have the employee form where we built. So let's add a new employee, demo employee. Let the employee's mail. I'm not putting all the data. Let's say I'm typing Akshay's email again because I have only access to Akshay's. Let's say his employee ID is 100 this time. Department is HR reporting to. He's the reporting manager this time. And the employee status is active. I'll add it. In all employees, you see Akshay is the demo employee that we have created now is the manager, and Akshay and P are the employees. So when I go back to create another employee, this time in reporting to Akshay would be visible because we have made the workflow of managers and employees. Now in announcements, you can create a new announcement. And when you go to all announcements, Happy New Year is visible here. In your dashboard, it shows welcome PC and Happy New Year announcement is here. And then we created the leave form where I can go on. So our demo employee can select any day and he can get the leave. The manager can check out the leave in the leave requests. Let's say that Akshay's leave was rejected. So the status changes to rejected, and if I approve demo's leave, it changes to approved. And then we shared this app with the required profiles to our employees and the managers. So because demo was the manager, let's go and see in Akshay's mail. Yeah, a new mail has been shared. I go on to check the app, and because he's the manager, his leave requests are reflecting here, which the employee does not have. So this is the app in a quick recap. I will now take you to the app gallery where we have a pre-built employee management app by our developers, which you can readily install and try using it. Now we will check out the app gallery app that we had. To go to the app gallery, we check out new application, and here when you type employee, the employee management app is right here. I install the app. So this is the app. Here the HTML is much better than what I just created. So you have the welcome, you have the quick links where you can go to apply leave, you can view the holidays for the year, the birthday folks for today, new hires and announcements. So they even have the hire tabs here. This is the dashboard, and in the profile you are not registered as employee, so I have to be registered as employee. You have the leaves, the team leaves, the leave reports, and the admin can add leaves, announcements, holidays. So this is a ready-made app that we have in the app gallery, which looks so much cooler. So if you have learned coding by now after seeing this video, you can just go and install it and play around with it. I hope you enjoyed learning about the app as much as I enjoyed building it. For any questions, just shoot them below and subscribe to our channel for more such apps. Till then, keep making apps and be happy.